The first page consists of author's note. You can see, and then again the author's note has been given, which I am going to read for all of you. I remember receiving a letter from the American publisher HarperCollins, which said that reading The Alchemist was like getting up at dawn and seeing the sunrise while the rest of the world still slept. I went outside, looked up at the sky, and thought to myself, so the book is going to be translated. At the time, I was struggling to establish myself as a writer and to follow my path, despite all the voices telling me it was impossible. And little by little, my dream was becoming reality. 10, 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 copies were sold in America. One day, a Brazilian journalist phoned to say that President Clinton had been photographed reading the book. Sometime later, when I was in Turkey, I opened the magazine Vanity Fair and there was Julia Roberts declaring that she adored the book. Walking alone down a street in Miami, I heard a girl telling her mother, "You must read The Alchemist." The book has been translated into 61 languages, has sold more than 30 million copies worldwide, and people are beginning to ask, what's the secret behind such a huge success? The only honest response is that I don't know. The author says he doesn't know about, secret. What made this book so successful? All I know is that, like Santiago the shepherd boy, we all need to be aware of our personal calling. What is a personal calling? Very important to know. It is God's blessing. It is the path that God chose for you here on earth. Whenever we do something that fills us with enthusiasm, we are following our legend. However, we don't all have the courage to confront our own dream. Why? There are four obstacles. First, we are told from childhood onwards that everything we want to do is impossible, which I don't believe personally. We grow up with this idea, and as the years accumulate, so too do the layers of prejudice, fear, and guilt. There comes a time when our personal calling is so deeply buried in our soul as to be invisible, but it is still there. If we have the courage to decenter our dream, we are then faced by second obstacle, love. We know that what we want to do, but are afraid of hurting those around us by abandoning everything in order to pursue our dream. We do not realize that love is just a further emptiness, not something that will prevent us going forward, and that those who genuinely wish us well want us to be happy and are prepared to accompany us on that journey. Once we have accepted that love is a stimulus, we come up against the third obstacle. What is that third obstacle? Fear of the defeats we will meet on the path. We who fight for our dreams suffer far more than when it doesn't work out because we cannot fall back on the old excuse, oh, well, I didn't really want it anyway. We do not want it and know that we have staked everything on it and that the path of the personal calling is no easier than any other path, except that our whole heart is in this journey. Then we warriors of light must be prepared to have patience in difficult times and to know that the universe is conspiring in our favor, even though we may not understand how. I ask myself, are defeats necessary? Well, necessary or not, they happen. When we first begin fighting for our dream, we have no experience and make many mistakes. The secret of life, though, is to fall 7 times and to get up 8 times. So, why is it important to live our personal calling if we are only going to suffer more than other people? Because once we have overcome the defeats, and we always do, we are filled with greater sense of euphoria and confidence. In the silence of our hearts, we know that we are proving ourselves worthy of the miracle of life. Each day, each hour is part of the good fight. We start to live with enthusiasm and pleasure. Intense, unexpected suffering passes more quickly than suffering that is apparently bearable. The latter goes on for years and, without our noticing, eats away at our soul until one day we are no longer able to free ourselves from the bitterness and it stays with us for the rest of our lives. Having disinterred our dream, having used the power of love to nurture it, and spent many years living with the scars, we suddenly notice that what we always wanted is there, waiting for us perhaps the very next day. Then comes the fourth obstacle, the fear of realizing the dream for which we have been fighting all our lives. Oscar Wilde said, "Each man kills the thing he loves." And it is true. The more possibility of getting what we want fills the soul of the ordinary person with guilt. We look around at all those who have failed to get what they want and feel that we do not deserve to get what we want either. We forget about all the obstacles we overcame, all the sufferings we endured, all the things we had to give up in order to get this far. I have known a lot of people who, when their personal calling was within their grasp, went on to commit a series of stupid mistakes and never reached their goal when it was only a step away. This is the most dangerous of the obstacles because it has a kind of saintly aura about it, renouncing joy and conquest. But if you believe yourself worthy of the thing you fought so hard to get, then you become an instrument of God. You help the soul of the world and you understand why you are here. Wonderful, wonderful.